This video is going to be a speed masterclass on how to master email in 2024 for your e-commerce brand. Now, we're going to run through everything super quickly, but just before we dive in, my name is Derek and I'm the founder of Ascend Media. We help 7- and 8-figure e-commerce brands scale and improve profitability using email marketing and SMS. I want to dive in here and I'm going to show you some of the key things and key reasons why you may not be generating 30, 40, or even 50% of your revenue from email. Now, most people way overcomplicate email marketing. Email marketing really comes down to 4 different things. If you master these 4 different things, your email system is going to crush it. So the first piece is deliverability. The second is open rates. The third is click rates. And the fourth is conversion rates. Now, you may be looking at that and being like, yeah, okay, I get that. But here's the thing. If you know where your issue is happening, if you know where the bottleneck is occurring in your business, you're going to be able to dissect that and figure out what needs to be done in order to fix that problem. So if you know that your deliverability is broken, there's no sense on focusing on your subject lines or your email content or something like that if that's not the thing that's going to move the needle, right? Now, what we look at is those 4 different pieces. And the first, like I said, is deliverability. So deliverability just comes down to, are you getting to the inbox or not? If you're not getting to the inbox, people aren't going to be able to open, people aren't going to be able to click, and people are not going to be able to purchase. Now, the piece of deliverability, oftentimes what happens is people, they diagnose a open rate issue as a subject line issue versus a deliverability issue. So what is bad deliverability going to really look like? Well, the main things you're going to want to look at are your unsubscribe rates, your spam rates, your bounce rates, and then in addition to that, you're going to want to look at your open rates too. So oftentimes, like I mentioned, a lot of people look at open rates and they'll say like, oh, you know what? My open rates are only 20% or 15% or 10% or God forbid, like 5%, right? They'll look at that and they'll be like, oh man, my subject lines suck or my email content sucks, and they'll change something there. But in reality, what needs to happen is you need to change your deliverability reputation, right? So often what that comes down to isn't your subject line. It's who you're sending to and what you're sending, right? So deliverability, oftentimes, if you have a deliverability issue, it's going to show up in your open rates, right? So if you have those 5 or 6 or 10% open rates, keep listening. Now, with deliverability, what we really want to focus on is making sure that we're sending to the right people at the right time with the right message. This is where segmentation comes into place, and there's a 30-minute video on this if you want to watch this on the channel. It's the main kind of feature video right now. But what it comes down to is making sure that you're cleaning your list and you're removing people who are unengaged, people who aren't interested in your content, people who have received, call it 10 emails and haven't clicked or opened any of them. We don't want those people on the list, and they don't want to be on the list, or they just have no idea that you exist, right? So we don't want those people on the list. We want to clear those people out first. And then what we want to do to improve deliverability is start sending to a smaller segment. So instead of the entire list, which I'd see way too many brands do, instead of sending to the entire list, sending to a small segment of that. So starting off, if you have, again, these issues, starting off with a 30-day engaged segment, which would be people who have clicked or opened your email in the last 30 days. If that works well, if you're getting over 40% open rates, increase that to 50%, increase that to a 60-day window, and then increase that to a 90-day window. And keep doing that until you start to, dip below 40%. So this is really important. Fixing deliverability just comes down to cleaning out the list and then sending the right content and engaging content to people on your list who have recently engaged. If you do that, you will fix deliverability, right? And obviously this is ensuring that you have the basics set up too, like DMARC, DKIM, SPF, etc. Super important. If you don't have that, please start there. Now, the open rate issue. If you don't have an open rate issue that is tied to deliverability, then what that's going to come down to is, again, segmentation, right? Sending to the right people at the right time with the right message. So sending content that's relevant and engaging and exciting for people to receive so that they get your email and they're like, yes, I'm fired up. Like I get that with a couple brands. I'm a big Scotch connoisseur, so I get these emails from like whiskey companies and whatnot. And I'm like, yes, I'm fired up. And it gets me excited, right? That should be what happens when people receive your email, if they actually want to receive it, right? So again, with open rates, start with that segmentation. If that's not helping or it's not getting to the point where you want it to, look at your subject lines and look at who you're sending from, like your sender name. Beyond that, it's probably not a open rate issue. It's probably a deliverability issue. So again, go back to step one. Third piece is your click rates. Now, so many people and so many brands make this huge mistake of trying to include every single piece of information they possibly could in their email. They have 17 different things that they're telling their community about. They have 43 call to actions. Is brutal. And what it does is it actually doesn't help convert people. It actually just creates confusion, right? If there's 43, or for example, we had a client who had 17, like I'm not even kidding, 17 call to actions in what some of their emails they were doing before us. And it's like, dude, like no one knows what you want them to do. You should have a single purpose of an email. It shouldn't be, hey, like shop now, shop our sale. Hey, check out this new product launch that we're having. Hey, follow us on social. Hey, download our app, do this. It gets ridiculous, right? It is super confusing for a customer what you want, and it's not conducive of creating more sales for your business. It's it'll have the opposite effect, right? So that is really important to consider with click rates. So typically what we want to have as a rule of thumb is have a call to action at the very top and then multiple calls to action throughout the email. Sometimes it's 2, sometimes it's 3, but we want to make sure the content is consistent and also engaging. If you send people content that sucks, people aren't going to click on it, right? So that's really important. The last piece of the puzzle is conversion rates. Now, conversion rates are a whole different beast, but really what you want to look for with conversion rates is, one, what types of emails are converting better? Is it a certain type of content? Is it a product spotlight? Is it sales? Duh, obviously, right? What types of emails perform better in terms of conversion rate? And then beyond that, when people are going to your site, what are things that you can improve to improve that UX, right? If you break things down, very simply put, if you break things down on your website and you go, okay, homepage, product page, add to cart, initiate checkout, purchase, 5 steps, look at where people are dropping off the most and compare that with kind of an industry benchmark, right? Look at that and be like, okay, cool. Like we're doing well here, but our abandoned checkout rate is like 90%. And like the other brands in the space, or like based off of these numbers, it should be more like 60% or 70%. Right? Fix that thing. That'll help email. That'll help your entire system. That'll help your business, right? So hopefully this video helped. This may have been slightly longer than 5 minutes, but hopefully you got a lot out of this. This is kind of like just breaking down email and making it less complex and less daunting, less scary, right? So again, if this did help, I'd appreciate if you like and subscribe. If you do have an e-commerce brand doing over $50,000 a month in revenue, I'd invite you to apply to work with us. There should be a link in the description below. And thanks so much for watching. Appreciate it.